2020 has ruined a lot of people's lives this year, and you know what? I wish I could give back to everyone that lost someone, lost something in their lives, lost their housing, anything because of this stupid virus that happened. And you know what? This year has been bad for a lot of people. But let us sit down and let's enjoy this little rant video, because every year, when it comes to these top 10 worst movies of 2020, these movies are kind of special because we did not get a lot of movies this year. So for these movies to stand out and be really bad, I gotta get ready for this because, you know, 2020 is just that bad, and vodka is needed. And yes, I am using a measuring glass to drink this, but do not judge me. I could not find shot glasses. They probably were dirty. But here we go. Now, before getting to my top 10 worst movies of the year, I do have some dishonorable mentions. I have 5 movies right here that were bad, just not bad enough to get in my top 10. And number 5 will be Mulan. I like this movie, but for what it was going to be, it's very disappointing because it's like nothing like the original, and a lot of people hate this movie, so I put it at number 5. Number 4, it's gonna be The Boy 2. It came out like in February. You probably don't know what I'm talking about because it made no money. It's bad. Number 3, The Tax Collector. David Ayer, what are you doing, man? Shia LaBeouf, I guess get laser surgery because those tattoos weren't worth it, my dude. Number 2 is Tom Hardy's Capone. Wow, was this boring? And like, you took Capone and you made him boring. How do you do that? And number one is a movie I was hoping to put in my top 3 worst movies of the year. But guess what? If you look it up on Google, it says 2019. We Summon the Darkness is an awful movie, and it would be number 3 on my list. It is a awful movie, but if you look up on Google, it says 2019. Makes me really mad because I really want to put this movie on this list. Now, with that being said, it is time for the top 10 worst movies, in my opinion, of 2020. Number 10. Coming in 10th place is a movie I actually do own on 4K. And before you're like, why'd you spend $30 on a movie you hate? I got it on a really good deal. It was $8, so I was like, I got to. But number 10 is Scoob. Yeah, this version, not the live-action awesome Scooby-Doo. Scoob. Scoob was just bad, guys. This is not Scooby-Doo. I know a lot of you are saying, but these characters are from the original cartoon or da-da-da-da-da. Listen, this movie was a 2020 version of Scooby-Doo. It's this versions of Scooby-Doo that kids are going to watch nowadays. It makes me sad. This movie was trash. It had nothing funny, no energetic humor that can keep adults wanting to watch it. It's a kids movie that is just bad, and it's just a terrible shame to put this even on a Scooby-Doo title. This is why it came to VOD and was not pushed back to theaters, because they're like, we need to get this movie out because we don't even want to put this movie into theaters. Number 9. In 9th place is a movie I also own because it came out one week and the very next week I found it for like $5. I was like, it's a deal. Number 9 is Vin Diesel's Bloodshot. Man, he can't get anything going besides Fast and Furious. This movie was such a flop. Just from looking at the trailers, I knew it was a flop. And the sad thing is, it was one of the last movies I saw in theaters. This movie is just horrible. Story creation, the characters, the CGI, the action. This movie is so forgettable. Vin Diesel, man, just keep making Fast and Furious because that's all that's going to get you box office money right now, because it is not Riddick and it for sure as hell not Bloodshot. And also, are they making a sequel? Why? Like, no, we don't want that. Number 8. In 8th place is the first movie I reviewed in 2020. Man, that told me a lot because number 8 is the 2020 version of The Grudge. I'll give the movie this little credit. It was rated R, and I was excited for that. I didn't know I was going to get a very confusing, time-warping, boring-ass, non-jump scare bullshit movie. This movie is not scary. It's boring as hell. It's so not intriguing. You were literally watching this movie building up to nothing. And the ending, it literally made everyone in my theater like sit there and was like, oh, it's over. The lights came on, we're like, oh, we leave now. And I was working one night as an usher when teenagers who snuck in the movie, of course, walk out and say, that movie sucked. You get to be on my list. Number 7. Dear God, stop giving him video game movies to make. Paul W.S. Anderson, make anything else. Monster Hunter. I did not like this movie, but really, I knew going in I wasn't gonna like this movie, which I hate doing, but watching the trailers and having such no intrigue, I know some people actually found this movie entertaining. For me, the editing and the eye-soaring direction by Paul W.S. Anderson is so bad. Just like the last Resident Evil movie, this movie is just as equal bad. Yeah, let's take Monster Hunter, the character, I guess. I don't play the video games. Let's not make him the main character. Let's bring in these American soldiers, these Hollywood plotline because Earth and Time Warp. Just give us the Monster Hunter. You had him in the movie. Make him the main character. This movie sucked. Do not see it. Number 6. Now, I cannot lie. I paid full price for a 4K of this movie. And honestly, it's because my OCD and the collection and stuff. Number 6 is one of the disappointments of the year that everyone assumed because The New Mutants was that. Listen, I remember literally putting up the poster back in 2018 when it got delayed for like the 3rd time. It got delayed 5 more times. To get this unbalanced movie, it was a mess. And it's kind of sad to think that this movie doesn't even fucking matter. Like, you take this movie, it means nothing to Marvel or anyone. It has nothing to do with nothing anymore. And the X-Men, it's sad, but it's the truth. And this movie could at least been entertaining, scary, like they were hyping up to be. It's none of those things. This movie is a just complete bleak inhumanity. No one's gonna remember it. It's not memorable itself. The only good thing I can say is Anya Taylor-Joy. That's it. I love her, and that is it. Number 5! I'm seeing a repeating thing I'm saying. I also own this movie on 4K because it was a Black Friday deal, and it was like $8. I'm like, that's a deal. I have to buy it. But this movie, I can go and say, it's pretty racist. Antebellum. Yeah, this movie was supposed to be released in theaters. I was looking forward toward this movie. It looked different, original, and cool. Guess what? It's basically racist. And the twist is very dumb. It's very, very dumb. If you've seen this movie and you like this movie, because I do have a friend that really likes this movie, that's really cool for you. For me, it was a mess of a movie. It's such a just cliche. You've seen it before. And by the ending, you're just like, can we just wrap up this hour-and-a-half movie? Oh, it's an hour-and-a-half? Oh my god, I feel like a 2-hour movie. The acting was fine, but this movie was a mess, and like I said, it peaks at racism in a very, very bad way. And if it does that, you probably deserve to be on a worse list somewhere, somehow. Number 4. Okay, I can now say I don't own this movie, but I do pay for the service the movie is on, so does that count? I don't know. Number 4, Artemis Fowl. Holy moly. Disney, what was that? I also remember putting up the poster for this movie last summer because it was going to come out into theaters. They pushed it off a year. The virus happened, and now we're here on Disney+. This movie sucked. Like, I mean, what was this movie? It was one of those, you drink and you laugh at this movie. The CGI is awful. I'll never forget Josh Gad opening his mouth and breaking it to, like, fix it. It was disturbing, and it stayed with me, and I don't like that. And Colin Farrell, man, oh man, I'm glad you have the Batman coming up because, dude, what was this? And, like, they start a franchise. I'm like, no. There's a reason why Disney was like, here, Disney+, take it. And guess what? We're not gonna make you pay for it because it fucking sucks. Number 3. Okay, this movie I also own on Blu-ray, sadly, because it was also a Black Friday deal. Don't make fun of me. But either way, this movie holds the title, if not of all time, worst movie endings ever. Number 3 is The Turning. Does anyone remember this movie? The kid from Stranger Things is in it, and it's like a horror movie, and it's like really clever, but guess what? It's a slow-ass moving movie leading up to literally no ending. This movie does not end. Stuff does not get wrapped up. You are literally left there like, huh? And the movie people are like, it's supposed to make you think, supposed to make you like feel like, does it end like this, or is it this, or is it this? No! I feel like the writers were like, how do we end this? I don't know, just end it. And it ended, and I was like, oh my god, it ended. That's how this movie's gonna fucking end. It is so bad. Besides the ending, the movie is boring. It's not scary at all. It's so just a slow and a paced hour-and-a-half movie. But yes, I do own it. But it is number 3 on this list. Number 2. Thank God I don't own this movie, because Jesus, Lord, Amen, Hallelujah. Robert Downey Jr. What is the first movie you're gonna do after Iron Man? Dolittle. Bro, really? Like, what was this movie? The CGI is bad. Robert Downey Jr. is like ad-lib the entire movie with this terrible accent. I don't know what he's doing. He's like, we're going on an adventure, and we're gonna run a ship. Oh, a squirrel. Oh, I'm gonna give shelter on a squirrel. Oh, it's like, bro, it's like, shut up. Like, you were Iron Man. Do another Sherlock Holmes movie. I'd rather do that than this shit. It's a kid's movie. It's really bad. It goes for fart jokes, stupid cliche predictability, and guess what? We get to see Robert Downey Jr. take a flute or something out of a dragon's ass. You paid to watch that movie. Do not watch Dolittle. Number 1. Oh boy. Number 1, guys. When I saw this movie, I just knew. I didn't know I was going to watch the movie in February and know a pandemic was going to ruin the entire year. But when I still saw this movie, I said, nothing is going to be worse than this movie. This movie actually made some type of money, and I was ashamed in a packed out theater watching this shit. This movie is the worst movie of 2020, in my opinion, goes to Fantasy Island. What a joke! What? The guy who made Truth or Dare, you know, the classic horror movie Truth or Dare, made Fantasy Island with a better budget and the same actress from the other one. I like Lucy Hale a lot, actually, from Pretty Little Liars, but in this movie, she's awful. And so is everyone else. I'll never forget the absolutely annoying brothers who always are high-fiving. It's like, shut the fuck up and die. It's a PG-13 Fantasy Island ripoff, trying to be a horror movie, trying to be a comedy, trying to be heartwarming, and to try to not be a bully, I guess. It also completely just pokes fun and makes fun of gay people. I don't support that at all. That is just wrong, and I don't like that. This movie is horrible. It's considered a horror movie, but I'm like, really? And the ending, it ruins the movie. I remember sitting there like, so you're telling me this entire time this character has been a bad guy, so why did this happen, this happen? And also, guess what? There's characters that walk through the jungle all day, all night long. They get to the destination. Guess what? They have to turn around and go back. It takes them not even a day. So what the fuck were they doing? Walk around the jungle in circles? Like, oh my god. And the ending, oh god, like I said, the ending is so bad. This movie, it's number 1. I know a lot of people were like, that's not number 1. It wasn't even, and it's like, no, for me, it fucking sucked. And yes, I own this movie. So with that being said, that's it. That is it. That is 2020. Wow. 2020 is over. That is the best thing I can say today. 2020 is coming to a flipping end. Thank you. Please bring back my job next year. Come on, Regal. Open up. We're gonna get that virus. We're gonna get that fixed. And guess what? I'm back, baby. I hope, at least. But guess what, guys? That is it for 2020. And I have had a ton of fun this year, even with all the sadness. Now, my friend, want to know, if you guys have been through a lot, I hope I can entertain you in a way to make you feel, make a smile. I like doing that for people. I love helping people. I want to know your favorite worst movie of the year, because this year has sucked and these movies are not good, but this year has brought us a lot, and you know, Go in the comments, talk about it. I'm here for you guys. I love you. I'll be back next year, of course. Will I be reviewing new movies? I hope I am. I really do. I'm hoping I'm reviewing a new movie every week like the old days. But for now, I'll still do movie reviews no matter what. I love you guys. Have a great new year. And I'll see you next year in the great, hopefully, 2021. I love you. Bye-bye, everyone.